Welcome, everybody. Some of you are here live for the first time, and that's great. Happy to have you. Let's just start with the Asato mantra, that we remember that we want to use this information to expand our consciousness so that we can share it with others. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya. When Ojas is present, then we can heal. Things can heal. The body heals, the mind heals, and it's necessary in order to avoid disease. That's what gives us the strength to do that, which is called bala. And it also provides the energy that becomes our aura. Right? So it's not just our skin and our eyes we talk about, but it's actually our energy. And it's what protects the dhatus or maintains them. We talk about it being our vigor in life, and it's also our ability to be blissful, to be peaceful. So the qualities of Ojas you've probably looked at. They're cool and soft, it's stable, viscous, it's clear, and it's pure. Sounds pretty nice, huh? It's very similar to kapha, right? And it's what gives us our intelligence and our mental strength, our ability to be content, our ability to concentrate and to be calm, enthusiasm, endurance, all the things that we talk about. Some of those things that we talk about when we talk about Agni, right? But Agni is the main thing that feeds the Ojas. And of course, our peace of mind. And so it has the subtle aspects of water, and it has the essence of digested food, which is called sara. It has air, and it has our impressions and our thoughts in it. And it has control of the senses, right? And so sometimes you'll see in text, it's called sarva dhatu sara, sara being that liquid nourishment, means nourishment of the dhatus, and that's Ojas. It's collected by our actions, our qualities, our habits, and our diet. So this is sort of the basis of everything that we do. So Ojas is responsible for the nerve channels, so that the nerves operate properly, and it gives them the lubrication and the stability to not only to the nerves, but also to the senses and the sense organs. So on an energetic level, then it gives us a strong immune system, or bala I mentioned, or the strength and the physical endurance to be able to fight off pathogens and that. On a spiritual level, it supports the development of our higher consciousness, or the more subtle aspects of life. And when they become imbalanced, then they're responsible for mental imbalance or mental illness. So you'll see it in people who overuse their mind. I always use the example of people, I think of myself when I was in graduate school. Yeah. Or anyone who just goes and goes and goes and goes until they crash. So they deplete themselves in general. Another example is people who do channeling without really understanding how to work their energy. Excess Ojas is not typically a problem, but excess prana dries up the Ojas. Think about the qualities of it. And that would be the channeling person. And then excess tejas will burn up Ojas. And so that would be the person in grad school, or people in medical school, or people who just continue to use their mind too much. Signs of low Ojas. So that would be when Ojas is deficient, there's a depletion of energy, disease, and eventually death. And so disease can cause Ojas to become depleted. And some disease is the result of depleted Ojas. You might have heard, because I've heard people say this to me recently, that to increase Ojas requires the sweet taste, right? And it does, but that's not sugary, right? It requires augmenting food, and that's why we have 60% augmenting food. But this sweet taste is only utilized properly when digestion is working properly. In other words, when Agni is working properly. So we need a healthy system overall, in order to increase ojas. Some people think, oh, if I just eat 25 dates, then I'll increase my ojas, and that's not the case. So some of this is in your manual, but I actually rearranged it just a little bit here to talk about it maybe in a little easier way. This might be a little bit deeper than most of you are going to really use, but it's good to just understand how it can happen. So there are various conditions of ojas. Okay, so first is oja bishramya. And so the effort part is related to pitta, and the stress that comes about usually after the effort then is related to vata. And both of these are going to diminish ojas. So for example, when we learn to be effortless within our yoga practice, then prana flows, and we can actually, then we can create ojas as the result of that. So our prana actually works through us. And then another comment about ojahara. So ojahara is primarily vata diseases. And then ojavruddhi is when you think about excess or unprocessed ojas. So this is when the metabolic toxins are in excess, then the dhatu agni, and the srota, the things that primarily carry nutrition, they don't function properly. And so then the ojas is unrefined, we say, or it ends up looking like an excess of kapha. You see, so that's what it will, how we'll see it in its manifestation. So these are all things that break down, the good in us. You think about it like that. Kidney problems is a vata problem. A lack of oil in the diet, negative thinking and talking and thinking too much. Yeah, I have to watch that myself, actually. Overwork, lack of sleep, prolonged excessive stress. In other words, we have a prolonged situation where we realize, that where we are in resistance to something in life. Viruses and parasites, and excess exercise. Yeah, so I've had a lot of people like that lately. Okay, so the results of disordered ojas, so you get a lack of luster, weakness, you have weak emotions, you feel like you're losing your life force, because that is what's happening. In order to bring true healing, we have to take responsibility for our feelings and emotions, which are rooted in our thinking and our choices. We have to come to learn that our pain is our creation. Our pain, our difficulties, and it's a reflection of the state of our being. So we come to understand that we can maintain our ojas, we can increase the light in us, or our perception, which is our tejas. And from this light of tejas and direction from prana, we can become free of suffering. So this is what it talks about in the Ayurveda text as well as in the yoga text. We can look at our lives on a daily basis and see, where can I increase my consciousness? We don't have to be hypervigilant about it or any of that, but watch how you conduct yourself with your family, in your home, because that's actually what we take out into the world. We think we want to do these things. Oh, if I'm going to go and I'm going to teach, or I'm going to go have a consultation, but we really need to do it in all of our life to actually be able to share it in a way that is wholesome and that feels good. Okay. Well, that's about it for Ojas today. Let's take some questions.
Cheese increases ojas and calms the mind and nerves, but it is rajasic. How does Hale Pule include cheese in a meal? If we can only get commercial cheese, would it still be an option of a building ojas food?
So first of all, we're only talking about fresh cheese. From an Ayurveda standpoint, we don't recommend any kind of aged cheese. And also, cheese is really not that ideal. So would it be something that we'd be recommending a notable amount of? No, not really. I would say, you know, a few times a week at the most, So there's a whole lot of other things, and really just good balanced meals, and especially ghee. Certainly dates and milk are going to be much more preferable to cheese, but a little bit of it, okay.
Tropical fruits, mango and papaya, are warming, while tropical fruits in general are cooling. Would it be important to explain that to clients? So, off the topic.
Yeah, okay. And also it looks like we have 3 questions in the queue or something. So we might see if any of those are Ojas related after this. Okay. Mango and papaya have a lot of sourness in them. And so, you know, people who live in, so now I'm going to talk about people who live in tropical places, because I know, Shizuka, you do. And I'll say right up front is that people who don't live in tropical places shouldn't really be eating tropical fruits. So, so would it be important to explain that to clients? Not really necessary. When I would talk about mango and papaya, would be only if you have someone who has excess pitta, and so you want to tell them to just moderate it. You know, that I know mango season can come, and then you have mangoes everywhere, and you want to eat mangoes a lot, and that's not a good idea, right? That's going to aggravate pitta. But and the same with papaya, actually.
Okay, there was just one other question that was sent in earlier that relates to Ojas, then we'll move to questions within the lecture. And that question is orgasm, like ejaculation, one of the urges of the body to be honored?
I think it goes back to what we listed here as one of the things that will deplete Ojas is an excess of sexual activity. And I think that a lot of people, especially in the Western world, have a little bit of a distorted idea about how much sexual activity they need. So, and that can really happen when pitta starts to get high. And so it will deplete the Ojas. So should the orgasm be honored? Yes, it should. Yeah, it is a natural urge of the body. However, putting oneself in the situation of having that excessively will do the opposite, you know, meaning that we would be depleting ourselves. Yeah.
Are there energy management tools you use for replenishing Ojas?
Yes, grounding yourself, bringing in earth and cosmic energy, being in the center of your head. It's really, you know, other than pranayama, it is the key, because learning how to run your energy and how to clear a samskara or clear a picture when it gets lit up, that's when we burn up our energy, right? Is when I get stuck on something, you know, somebody did something and it reminded me of something from my childhood, and I stay in it and I get depressed, or I go into self-pity, or I want to do things to avoid that discomfort. You know, that's the stuff that depletes our Ojas. Yeah. Because then it goes into, I'm not being myself, and then I'm worried, and then there's all kinds of a spin that can go with that. So what the intuitive energy practice can do is it can help you keep the doshas balanced. Yeah. Yeah, and especially Vata. Yeah.
If your Agni is weak, what is the best way to replenish Ojas?
Oh, the best way is to take care of Agni. You have to stop doing the things that are insulting your Agni. You know, whether it's something physical or whether it's, you know, your mental attitude. That's it. That's the bulk of it. You know, you need to make sure that you're living a good life, that you're not doing things that are, you know, that you don't want to do things that are unethical. You don't want to do things that are hateful or harmful and things like that, of course. And then you need to have the things that we talk about. You need to have a balanced diet. You need to eat 3 meals a day. You need to take care of yourself. You need to sleep. You know, And so it's really, really just that. Actually, that's why we have this program called Agni Therapy now, is to help people learn about that and be able to take the steps. Sometimes some people will just do a little bit, but that little bit is enough to help them to get their Agni going, and that will replenish the Ojas. And some people will do it in a much deeper way. You get more benefit. Yeah.